Hello guys, so welcome to this tutorial. I'm going to show you how you can build your own text-based AI agent, which you can publish to your website. You can also publish this agent to your social media pages like Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, but I won't cover that today. We're going to need Voiceflow and make.com. We're going to start by signing into our Voiceflow account. I already built a version of the AI agent, but so I'm just going to delete that and build a whole new one. We can start by signing into make.com. So make.com is just a software that allows us to build backend automations, so build tools for our agent to schedule calls and check availability in our calendar. So everything is built for make.com. This is Voiceflow. Right, you'll got your own workspace. You'll have the agents. This is where you got all the agents that you've built. You've got team and billing. Obviously, if you got a team usage, so how much tokens you have used. Okay, so it does give you quite a bit of free tokens when you first sign up on the free plan. You got phone numbers because you can also build voice agents in Voiceflow. You've got the documentation, templates, community, settings, and you can contact the sales team. We're going to start by creating a new agent. We're building an agent for a fitness coaching business. We call it Joe Fitness. We're going to start with a basic template and let's go into create project. They've got a few templates available if you want to use any of them. This is what you come across in Voiceflow. You can drag blocks to build your agents. You can drag an agent to give it a prompt, and it's also you can use text blocks and these other blocks here. You got a message, prompt, image, and capture. You get what the user is typing or saying. You've got logic and development. So there's a lot in Voiceflow. It's a great software to build these AI agents. You're going to start by deleting this and adding an agent block. This agent will be your 24/7 brand representative. It will generate your leads automatically and it will get you more sales calls booked in your calendar automatically. Once we add the agent block, where we need to go here on the side on where it says select existing agent. Now we need to go to create new agent. So once you go to create the agent, we're going to come across this page. We'll just give our agent a name. Call it Joe Fitness brand representative, and we'll just give a title. We give a brief description of what the agent will do, and this is what we're going to come across. So here, instructions is where we're going to add our prompt, and then we go obviously the tools where we're going to create the tools to allow the agent to schedule calls in our calendar. We've got paths. If we were to add more functions to our agent or tasks, we could obviously just direct the agent through these paths. And you got access to knowledge base. We're going to allow that. So if you've got obviously a knowledge base document, which I've got here, this knowledge-based document just got some basic information about the business. It's a made-up coaching business, so just give you some brief information. But if you've got a website, you can connect it to the knowledge base. So what we're going to do is actually go back, and we're going to add our knowledge base. Let's add a data source. You can add a URL for your website. You can upload files or your plain text. I'm going to upload a file because I've already got this knowledge base downloaded. Open. We're going to import. So that's it. The knowledge base has been imported. We can go back to our workflow and start building the agent. I've already got a prompt ready for this agent. I will provide you with a template which you can customize to your business needs to get the full benefit of this agent. So this is the prompt that we're going to use. We're going to start by giving it a main role, so the agent gets into that persona of being a high-skill fitness coach representative. This is actually an important step that a lot of people skip, but required when using one-shot prompting. We need to include a bit of context in what role we want the agent to play, and obviously we give you the task, some examples, and we give you some rules as well. I need to change this prompt a little bit, which I'll do in a second. But before I change the prompt, I'm going to start by building the tools that we're going to need. So if you go to make.com and we go to login, and let's just log into our account. So make.com just allows you to build some backend automations for your agent. So here we've got the organization or own plan.
So make.com gives you a free plan with 1,000 free operations per month.
In this case, they gave me a pro plan for free. So I got 10,000 operations to use. The prices aren't expensive at all. So if you go to subscription, you can see that the core plan gives you 10,000 operations per month for $10.59 per month, and you've got other options. You can add more operations if you want for a higher price. But yeah, it allows you to do a lot. On the left side bar, we've got a team. You can see how many operations we've used. We got our scenarios, AI agents, templates. There are loads of tutorials about make.com and in YouTube, so I'm gonna let you guys get on with those. But we're going to start by creating a new scenario. Once we go to create a new scenario, we come across this interface. Make.com uses modules, so this is when we add specific blocks with specific functions. So the first tool we're going to use for our AI agent is a get date and time, to provide the agent with the actual date and time, what time zone we're in, so the agent obviously schedules the calls correctly in our calendar. Just Google and search date and time API. These are just basically some softwares that give us free access to date and time via API. We're just going to find a free one. So we're going to use this website. I'll make sure to include a link to the website. So we're just going to obviously use the API time in current time zone. We don't need anything else. So if we just go to try out what time zone you're in, obviously I'm in London, insert that, and then we press execute. So it gives you sort of the structure needed to get the current date and time. Copy this and go to Voiceflow, go to tools, press on API and create an API tool. It's a get request, paste the URL here. We need a header, accept application JSON. Go back to our agent, add a header, just add accept. Even Voiceflow gives you some suggestions, and then we add application JSON. That will automatically work. It gives you the current year, month, day, hour, minute, time zone, day of the week, which is great. So that's the tool. That's the tool, we'll name it date and time,
And we're going to give it a description.
it contains the current date and time. Okay, so that is done. Now the second tool we are going to use is a tool that will allow us to schedule those meetings in our calendar. Let's start by going to make.com, and we're just going to create a new scenario. Add a webhook module, custom webhook, and name this schedule meeting. Press save. It will give us a URL to paste into Voiceflow so the agent can connect to this webhook. We'll do that later. When we get these calls booked in our calendar, we first want to check that obviously the availability is there. So we're going to start by adding a module to allow the system or the scenario to check that we've actually got availability. Go to module and search
For Google Calendar.
well, they got the calendars available. They've got Microsoft Calendar. They've got Calendly available too. We're going to use Google Calendar. Press Google Calendar and search events. I already got my Google Calendar connection made, but it's easy for you to create a connection. I also include some tutorials for you to create your own connection. And then if you go to calendar ID, this is just the primary calendar I use, only the start date, the end date, and that's pretty much it. Press this save for now. And once the scenario checks the full availability in our calendar, we're essentially going to have two paths. So one is the scenario managed to check that there is availability in our calendar, so you can go ahead and schedule that meeting in our calendar. And the other is that we already got something in our calendar, so that time slot is not available. We're going to go to flow control, and we're going to add a router to split the scenario into two paths, and we're going to add filters to ensure the correct path is chosen. So we add the router, press the plus sign, so it allows us to create two different paths. But the first one is, let's say obviously that we've got space in our calendar and the time slot is available. We can go ahead and schedule that time slot. So it's going to go into create an event, and then create an event detail with your calendar. Give it a name, start date, end date, and so on. This time we go to Voiceflow and just start getting the information we need sent over, just to allow the make.com to get the structure correct. Then we can start filling these bits out. We're going to create another tool, an API call. Create API tool. Then this schedule call. Give it a description. We're going to need this URL, so we're going to determine data structure. We're going to copy the address to the clipboard, and we're going to paste it right here. With make.com scenarios, use the post method. We're going to need some headers too. So the first header we're going to need is the content type that we're going to send from the webhook. The content type is going to be application JSON. So let's just write that down. And then we need obviously to add our body. I like to use just a raw format, so I can make sure everything is done properly. So what you can use as well is this tool or software called JSON format to make sure your JSON code is correct, or you can use ChatGPT as well to get that done for you easily. So obviously we're going to need a couple of pieces of information to schedule our meetings. So you're going to need the client's name, email address, and contact number. Just some basic information to allow you guys to prepare for these meetings. So we're going to start by adding these parameters here. So let's start by adding name and phone number. And email. To make sure that our agent obviously collects these variables from the customer, we need to add these input variables, which is going to give the variables the values. So just basically read what we've just done here. So press on, just insert the name and just add a description, the full name of the user, and then just add the phone number. So the phone of the user, and then we need also the email. So the email address for the user. And you're going to need obviously the relevant information. So information, so relevant. Okay, so we're just going to add this. If you just go back to our body block, we can add these variables to make sure that these are sent through. So if we just start typing also the name of the variable, we will see that the suggestion comes up here. So if you just select on that suggestion, that will automatically add the variable on. So we'll do that for all the other ones. And that's it. So we can start by giving it the tool test to determine the data structure in make.com. So we're going to press on run. We're just going to give these variables or values. Okay, so this is the type of information that we'll get sent over to our make.com scenario. So we press on run, and we can see here on make.com. Oh, so it seems that there's an error. Right, okay, so I forgot to add some commas into our body, so to separate the data that we're sending over. So we're adding commas, and that should work now. There you go. We got the data structure that we need. If you just go to our first module, we start by filling out these spaces right here. So we're going to start by using, okay, I actually forgot one piece of information you need. Let me go back to the webhook and set data structure for the actual date and time to schedule the meeting. So I'm just going to go ahead and add this, so date and time. So the date and time preferred for the call. I just need to add these. There we go. So let's add these as a test variables, date and time. So I should have saved the data structure. We should go to our first module once again and add the variable date time to start date. We also need the end date and time. With Google Calendar, we need to add the date and time of the meeting that we're going to search for. We also need to end the end date and time for the meeting. So it's basically going to search that slot in our Google Calendar to make sure it's available. The slots I'm going to use are half an hour, but for us to not having to collect that data from the customer, just to allow it to run smoothly in the back end, we can use one of the make.com functions, which is add minutes. So what it does is basically will add minutes to the current date and time obtained from the customer. For example, if you obtain the time 9 a.m. and we add 30 minutes, is going to insert here 9:30, so we can know that the start time is 9 a.m. and the end time will be 9:30 a.m. So if you just write add and then minutes and then get a curly bracket, insert the variable date time here, just add a semicolon, add 30 and close the bracket. That will automatically add 30 minutes to the date and time provided with, to allow it to search for that time slot in our calendar. And we don't need anything else, so we can just go ahead and press save. So once that's saved, we go to our next module, which is to create an event. If that time slot is available, it will create an event where you're just going to add a name. So I'm just going to add call with, and then I'm just going to add the name of the client. Yeah, we're going to add the name of the client we have a call with. Then we need to add the start date and time that the client wanted. Rather than adding an end date, we can just add the duration of the meeting. So the duration of the meeting in this case will be 30 minutes, 00, and then 30, just to make sure that it actually puts 30 minutes, because if we just add 30 in it, it will schedule for 30 hours. So yeah, just use this format here. So hour, and then minute, 30 minutes, and we're going to press save. We need to add a filter to make sure this path is triggered only when the right circumstances are met. So we'll set up a filter to make sure the path is triggered correctly. Add a name, so we're just going to call it event check. The condition is that the total number of bundles is returned equal to 0, so no meetings were found at that time. And then we can go through this path, and then we can set up the other filter and give the same name. So let's check. If the total number of bundles is
greater to 1,
we can go to numeric operations. If it's greater than or equal to 1, you will advise that as meeting can't be scheduled at that time, they need to choose an alternative time. We're going to finish this block here. We're going to add a webhook response to make sure the agent knows, and we need to add some headers when we use a webhook response. So make sure the system in Voiceflow knows that this webhook is going to generate a response. We start by adding a header. It's a content type that's going to get sent through the webhook. So we're going to add a content type application JSON. And then we add our body in JSON format. You can choose ChatGPT or use this method to add a response. Let's do the variable for the response. Okay, go to make.com, add here on our body. The response will confirm the event has been scheduled for that specific date and time. So I can just go ahead and write this down. And we can just add the date and time you wanted, and we can just press on save. Once this path is triggered, it will just generate a response letting the agent know the call has been successfully scheduled for that date and time. So it can obviously let the user know. If there is already an event on the specific date and time, we can inform the agent, so it can inform the user to choose an alternative date and time. So we're just going to add a webhook response. Again, we need the same structure, header. So content type, application, JSON, and then we set the body. We can copy the same structure. The response will be the date and time. And we can add here what date and time they wanted is not available. Please select a different time. Okay, so we can just press on save, and it's going to give our response in case there is already an event at a specific date and time. If we go back to Voiceflow, we need to change our prompt slightly just to make sure that the agent uses the correct tools when needed. So I'm just going to go here on task where it says use the available tools, schedule consultation call. I'm just going to add date and time. And just so you know what it does. We got the description of what it does already, but it's always better to add further context. So it contains the current date and time to ensure the call is scheduled correctly. The other tool is schedule call. Schedules the call based on the user's preferred date and time. It schedules the call if slot is available based on the user's preferred date and time. Okay, so let me just read through the rest of the prompt. Okay, so here we can add if the schedule call tool advises that the slot is not available, ask the user to provide another date and time. Okay, so we can choose the model. We're just going to use GPT 4.1, and you can set the temperature as we want. We're going to reduce the temperature to 0.1 just to generate random responses, keeps a certain level of consistency, and we're going to increase the amount of tokens slightly a bit more just to make sure that we provide good responses. We can go ahead and test the agent, press on run. and run a test. So there we go, it starts by introducing itself. It starts by asking some questions to obtain more context and more relevant information from the user. So I'm going to answer these questions. I'm looking to build muscle. So do strength training 5 days a week. What's the main challenge at the moment? Let's show with progress, nutrition time, or something else. Feel do you follow a specific training program or nutrition plan, or do you own? I create my own workouts and meals. Spend 45 minutes to an hour on my workouts. So that's a solid amount of time to see great results. Would you be interested in scheduling a call? Could you share a date and time for a call along with your name, number, and email? So I'm just going to say my name is Rico. Just make sure that this tool works. I'm going to go to my calendar. I can see here I've got this meeting at 9 a.m. tomorrow, so I'm just going to use this date and time to make sure the make scenario works. Let me just go back to the agent. So my name is so between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. tomorrow at 9 a.m. run. So you can see here the make scenario triggered correctly, confirming there's already an event at that specific date and time. You chose the right path, and it informed that the date and time selected is not available. Please select a different time. Now let's make sure that you provide the correct response. Thanks for providing your details. Unfortunately, tomorrow at 9 a.m. isn't available for a call. Could you please suggest another date and time that works for you? So I'm just going to say, how about Wednesday at 9 a.m. Okay, so it says that the consultation call has actually been scheduled. Actually, I didn't press on the run the scenario, but we can press on run it now to make sure you schedule the call correctly. So once your make.com scenario is set up correctly, you can just press here to activate the scenario to run automatically. So as soon as data arrives, the scenario will run. But yeah, the scenario will have been triggered correctly. It's created the event correctly in our calendar. You see here, call with Rico Plot. And what we didn't do actually is add some additional information to our calendar. So when we go to our event, we can go into show advanced settings. In the description, that's where we can add some additional information, so relevant info for our meeting. So it's going to make sure that I add some relevant information so you guys are aware and are prepared. So when you jump into the meeting call, that's how you build your agent. As you can see, it's really simple and easy. If you have any questions, you can just drop them in the chat and I'll clarify them as best as I can.